and welcome to clarifiedbetter.com show, a place where we talk to our guests to try to help your hotel make money, save cost, or train the team. We all know that food is a big expense in your food and beverage operation. On our blog, we have articles on how to control cost. However, in this interview, today we will talk with Chef Ajeeth of Residency Towers, Coimbatore. We dig a little deep into the topic of food cost and particularly on wastage. We will be talking about yield testing, how to do it, and its benefits if it is implemented in your hotel. But before we begin, a small advertisement message. Training your team has always been expensive, and given so many of your team members leave the company soon after joining, it was impossible to keep up. The Learning Library at clarifiedbetter.com is a great resource for you to offer a cost-effective learning solution to your team. With over 50 plus courses and 700 plus lessons, the learning catalog has something for all the department to learn. With one small annual payment, all your team member will get unlimited access to the content library for an entire year. And what is more, if someone new joins, that person gets access to it as well. This will free up the time of your managers that is used to dedicate for training your new employees so that they can focus on generating you more revenue. So visit clarifiedbetter.com/team to contact us and enroll your hotel. And now on to our show, Chef Ajeeth. Welcome to Clarified Better show, Chef. How are you today?
I'm doing good, Veena. Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here and to pass on some of the knowledge that we have gained over the years and look at people utilizing them in the right method. So thank you so much.
Thank you for coming over. So before we begin, why don't you start by letting our audience know a little bit about yourself? And what are you up to these days?
So yeah, I started my career in 1998. I passed out from the Institute of Hotel Management and Catering Technology, Kovalam. And so it has been almost 22 years since I have stepped into the industry. My initial parts of my career, I worked with an organization called the CGH Earth, which was based out of Kerala. Then I moved on to the cruise ships, came back from there, did a stint again with CGH Earth. Later on, I joined Sterling. I tried to set up a business of my own in Dubai for about a year or so. That didn't work out very well. Now I'm working with the Residency Towers, Coimbatore for the past 2.5 years, and we have been on the top of the food chain in Coimbatore. We are one of the top earners as far as Coimbatore city is concerned, and we do very well in banquets and all sorts of events. At least that was pre-COVID. Post-COVID, now I think our things are more focused onto training our staff, getting ready for when we are going to open up and do some research, do some things that will improve myself and my team to look forward to the better things that's going to come in the future.
Okay, so you have so many years of experiences. So what is your specialization?
So I like to call it responsible cuisine. My forte, or what I like to do is wherever I'm going, wherever I work or any area that I go to, I look at what is available locally. I try to source from the local farmers, try to source from the local areas, and utilize that to make gourmet healthy food. And I think it's all about the ingredients. At the end of it, if you're able to treat the ingredient right, you are able to get your food product right. So from there on end, any cuisine can be a specialty. You could take a local ingredient and make an international dish with it, or you could take a local ingredient and make a local dish with it. So I think the possibilities are endless with responsible cuisine, and that is what I like to call my forte.
Well, that's very nice. So the main question here is managing food cost is a very big topic, and there are many moving parts in the equation. It is not very simply the cost price. So today I wanted to discuss a little bit about yield test and how it can possibly affect the hotel food cost.
Yield test in itself is a very vast topic. So the yield, or okay, let's start put it this way. The butchery, yeah, is one of the major areas which focuses on your cost. And generally what happens is nobody wants to do that dirty job. So you will always see in big hotels, you will see that it will be the really inexperienced people who, the commie threes and commie twos, who are generally put in charge of the butchery and things like that. But I look at the butchery as my nerve center. I look at butchery as my key area where my cost is generated from. It is where I can save the maximum amount of money. And the yield test is one of the key areas for you to save that cost and understand the cost. It is, for example, if you have, say, 100 kgs of fish coming in, you know what kind of fish it is, and you look at the amount of meat that is taken from it, you will know immediately whether it's right or not right if you know the yield. So the yield test is one of the most critical things that you need to do to get an understanding of what exactly. For example, I'll just give a small example.
Okay.
If you have a fish that costs you 300 rupees that come in, yeah, you're taking the whole fish, it costs you 300 rupees. By the time you are done with cutting and filleting the fish, the cost per kg cost of that fish has already risen to 600 rupees to 650 rupees, because average yield that you would get from a fish other than for sear fish would be about 33% or 34%. At the most 40% is what you would look at the yield looking at yield you're getting. So if you don't know exactly what is coming in, you're going to be wasting money, which is going to affect your profits full scale. If you don't know what is the meat that is being wasted, your food cost is going to go high, which is going to be decreased profit for that particular year. So yield test is one of the most critical things that you would need to do as you're setting up the hotel.
Okay.
So one of the first things we did when I came in here, as we were coming out of renovation, was we did a yield test. The entire yield test that was done was put up in a massive stainless steel wood, and it was stuck onto the wall of the butchery, so that it's an information for everybody knowing that this is the yield, this is what I should be getting. Anybody who is there has to follow that particular thing. So that, I think, yield test is one of the most important tools in the hand of the chef to know where his cost is going.
That's nice. Chef, if the butchery is a very important part and it plays a very big role in yield test and save cost, so why is it that not many people do it and they take it for granted and give it to the commie? Why is it like that?
So this has got a very, very interesting story behind it. Okay, my first years as when I entered into the kitchens, I was hired as a kitchen management trainee, and one of the first years that I was working in, the first jobs I used to be given was to be in the butchery. And we used to fillet 200, 300 kgs of fish. We used to, 9 o'clock in the morning, we come in, we'll have 200 kgs of fish to fillet, we'll have 300 kgs of chicken to cut. This would be our routine. And 1:30, 2 o'clock, we would go to the cafeteria to eat our food. Yeah, and you would go. So we are all 20, 21-year-old guys, and we would like to sit somebody, with one of the girls who would like to sit down and have lunch. And trust to me, not a single person would sit with us to have lunch because we would be stinking of fish. Yeah, this is one of the most. I mean, the butchery work, as important as it is, yeah, it is looked at. It's looked as one of the most meanest task or the smallest task as far as the kitchen is concerned. So I think so that's the reason why nobody likes to work in the butchery, because it's cold, it is wet, you are stinking, there is no actual cooking involved, you're only just butchering the meat and giving. So that's one of the major reasons why generally people tend to keep away. Okay, I want to do some real cooking, I will go to Indian kitchen. I want to do some real cooking, I'll go to the Chinese kitchen. So that generally is the trend that is there these days. But my formative years, my first year of my career was spent entirely in the butchery. So that has always been a massive learning ground for me, which has helped me become what I am today.
That's nice. So how does it help control food cost?
Food cost has a lot of, like you said, rightly said, food cost has a lot of moving parts. Yeah, there is meat, there is vegetables, there is oil, there is rice, there is dairy products. These are all high value items. Yeah, but you at the end of it, let's take up a banquet discussion, for example. Yeah, you want a vegetarian food, yeah, your cost is going to be hardly anything. I mean, if you pick up a 1,000 rupees per person, if you pick up on a banquet menu for a vegetarian food, your food cost to that is hardly 10 to 15%. Yeah, that is the crux of it. That's about it.
Okay.
Whatever amount of rice, vegetables, whatever unique vegetables you want to put, that is going to be the cost of it. But the moment you come to utilizing meat, you look at the consumption, it's going to be maximum.
Okay.
If I do a chicken biryani, the amount of chicken that I have to put in and the amount of rice I have to put in, 1.5 weight of the rice is the amount of chicken that I need to put in to actually make it flavorful, to give it to the guests, for them to be acceptable.
I see.
Yeah, therein itself my cost immediately increases.
Okay.
Yeah, and what people are going to, when there is a choice given between non-vegetarian and vegetarian food in banquets or in most of the places, people are going to naturally gravitate towards the non-vegetarian. They are going to be practically picking the chicken pieces or the mutton pieces or fish pieces, and they're going to be eating that.
Right.
So when you pick up the material from the raw weight, for example, if I have 1 kg of chicken coming up, yeah, the moment I cook that 1 kg of chicken, it has already shrunk in weight. You're going to have the weight loss happening already. So 1 kg of chicken I've picked up, I have cut it. The moment I've cut it, I have lost about 200 grams of weightage I've lost there. So chicken that cost me 100 rupees has now become 150 rupees. Once I've cooked it, again there's going to be another weight loss of another 20%. So from 150 rupees, it's already become 250 rupees.
Right.
So by the time it's being served, the price is almost increased. My service price has almost increased, say about 100%.
I see.
Yeah, so that amount of increase is not going to happen in the vegetables. I take say bindi. Yeah, so I'm doing a bindi kurkure. I am taking 10 kgs of bindi. I cut the bindi. Yeah, so 10 kgs of bindi might come up to say about 8 kgs after I've cut it, or about 7 kgs after all the trimmings and wastage. It is not going to reduce further.
Right. Okay.
It's not going to reduce more than that. But for the non-vegetarian, it's going constantly, your weight is going to decrease, your price is going to increase on that. So the focus is always there on that area to ensure that you are able to keep that critical, you're able to have extreme control on that to ensure that, there's nothing wasted. So generally in my banquet kitchen, what I do is, not only in my banquet, what I do is my butchery has a issue register, a handwritten issue register, where even if a 500 grams of meat is taken out of the fridge, it is written there. Okay. There's specific notation saying that so-and-so person, it's been issued to so-and-so kitchen. Mm-hmm. Other than this, the banquet chef has a record of the consumption that happens per party. Or every sous chef in his individual kitchen has a record of what is the meat that has been consumed in his kitchen on that particular day. And if there is any leftover meat or any leftover things, what is the plan with it? For example, a banquet kitchen may have a chicken biryani that's leftover, or it will have a chicken curry that's leftover. Mm. You made for 200, 300 people, it has not been utilized. So there has to be a record of that saying that, okay, for 200 packs party, we had made 20 kgs of chicken, 5 kg of chicken is leftover. That record has to be maintained. It's an extremely important thing to ensure that your cost is under control.
I see. That's nice. So talking about vegetables, how can you do a yield test on vegetables, or say in your butchery?
So for the yield test, generally, which is done, so I don't have the okay. Let's imagine a product. Yeah, let's take fish on the non-vegetarian side.
Fish, okay.
Yeah. So you take fish. What I generally do is I do 3 yield tests. So three different times when the fish comes in. Okay. We make an Excel sheet. We note the weight of the fish that has come in, and we fillet it and then distribute it into the bones. Okay. We distribute it into the wastage. I mean, wastage is the guts, the fins, are practically things that cannot be utilized.
Right.
And then we have the fillets that can actually be used.
Fillets.
And then you will have certain part of the meat that is trimmings, basically, that may not be used in an a la carte portion, or may not be used in proper portions, but it can be minced and it can be used for something else. So these are the 4 broad spectrums that we distributed in.
Okay.
And we do this 3 different times. Okay. So we get 3 results. So basically, it's going to be the weight of the fish. Yeah, it's going to be the weight of the fillet, which is going to give you the yield percentage.
Okay.
So weight of fillet divided by total weight into 100.
Mm-hmm. Okay. The
will give you the percentage. Will give you the yield percentage. The yield percentage is what is going to be the most important thing for you. Yes. Yeah, generally for fish, as a thumb rule, for fish, it is generally 33% is what is seen as a yield percentage. The only fish that is slightly closer to 50% is the sea fish. Okay. The rest of the fishes, the grouper, everything else, cobia fish comes to about 40%, but any grouper or any fish with a bigger head, the snapper family, generally gives you about 30 to 33%. So if you if you take it 3 times for any meat for that matter, may it be chicken or mutton or for different cuts, you can do this. But I recommend you do it 3 times, 3 different periods. So you are able to derive at a very round number that will give you a better statistic. Yeah. Now, with the present scenario, I think this record also needs to be done with the vegetables. So what in my kitchen I have done is, instead of having every section cutting their own vegetables, what I've done is I have kept a night shift in the commissary specifically for cutting vegetables. So exactly like the butchery, these people, the chefs, the master chefs, master chefs or sous chefs of each kitchen give a vegetable requisition in the morning.
Okay.
So the vegetable requisition is given to the guys who come in the night shift. They have an entire list of vegetables. Okay, okra so and so cut so many kgs, onions so and so slice or chopped, hand chopped, machine chopped so and so kgs. So now I'm going to start doing yield tests for the onions, so that I know if I have given them 10 kgs of onion, how much of sliced onion have I got. So the advantage for me there is, the moment my chefs are coming in, my master chefs come in, all they need to do is he picks up the meat, picks up the vegetables, he picks up the store, and he's ready to go. So your initial challenge of so generally the rest of the kitchen, what they do is they will have every kitchen will have extra 4 or 5 trainees or things like that. They will bring all the vegetables up, and then they will start cutting, and then they'll start chopping, and then it just takes, I feel it takes time off the actual cooking process that needs to go in. So once they have all these things ready, they are able to just go into cooking. That is from the cooking side. From the cost perspective, for me, I have a better control on what is going.
Okay.
So if I know I have a 200 pax party, I know exactly the amount of onion that I need to give to him for him to get the required output to give it.
That's great. So, is there any thumb rule on what wastage is acceptable? Obviously, the skin and the peel, etc., will lead to some wastage.
Yeah. So it is. So the yield test is extremely unique for each product. Yeah. So I couldn't give you a single thumb rule that can go good for chicken, meat, fish, and mutton.
Okay.
So every cut of meat will have a different yield.
Okay.
Every cut of a fish will have a different yield for you. A different fish will have a different yield.
Yeah.
So I don't think there is one unique thumb rule I can give you that's going to fit everything.
Okay. All right.
Even for vegetables, for that matter, if you pick up onion will have a particular yield. The potato would have a particular yield. If you're going to make mashed potato, it will have a different yield. If you're going to make French fries from it, will have a different yield. So it is generally an extremely laborious process, this yield test. But if you go and search on Google, you will have a lot of people who have done these tests. You will have a lot of material that you can actually pick up and you can follow. But I will also say that those are extremely local products that they have used there. So if you have a chance of doing these yield tests within your own organizations, in your local units, I feel it is best you do these yield tests in your local unit yourself, so that you have clear-cut pictures to utilize that product properly.
I see. So we have one yield test calculator in clarifiedbetter.com. it is absolutely freely available, so anybody can use it. So chefs can go ahead and just check in the blog in the yield test calculator, yield test calculator. So you can just go and put in all the.
I know, I've seen that, and I also recommend it. I also recommend the yield test
Oh, thank
calculator.
you.
So it is an extremely useful tool. I would recommend people to go and use it as well.
Okay.
Yeah. So I think there's a lot of work that has gone behind it. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it definitely gives a very, very clear picture of what can be utilized and how it needs to be done, because it gives you the first-hand experience as to the money that physically, that money. A lot of us don't think in terms of money. Chefs, I mean, yeah, we see the chicken or a mutton or a piece of vegetable. But if we could convert that into, say, 100-rupee notes, because that's what actually it is. It is money. Nobody would throw it in the garbage. If it was say, instead of a piece of chicken, I keep a 100-rupee note there. Nobody will pick it and throw it into the garbage.
You're right.
For people, they see a piece of chicken, it is, they just pick it up and throw it in the garbage. So if we are able to inculcate into our training that you are actually throwing money into the garbage, then people will have better understanding of saying that, okay, how can I use this?
I see.
So I think senior chefs should inculcate that into our junior people who are coming up, train them in such a way that tells them, okay, listen, this is money.
I see.
There is somebody behind this. There's a farmer behind this who has actually taken the pain of growing these vegetables or rearing these animals.
True.
There is somebody who has actually put in his effort to bring this to you. The organization has spent money in buying this,
right?
And after that, this is here. So before you decide to chuck something to the garbage bin, take a hard look at it. Decide if it really needs to go into the garbage bin.
Absolutely. So training the team with regards to yield test is really important, because they are the ones who will handle it, right? So how can yield test be used to train your team? Obviously, it cannot be just a paper exercise where you do it once and forget about it.
Yeah. So, like I said, one of the best things we did was to get this etched onto a metal board and put it right in front of where they're working. So they cannot miss it. It is visual to them all the time. See, look at this. This is what's happening. This is one part of it. The second part of it is constant monitoring of the issue register.
Okay.
Yeah, constant monitor of the issue register as to what is the value of stock that you have with you, what has been issued to what kitchen, what has the sale that has taken place to justify this issue.
I see. Okay.
So if you're going to monitor those, if you're able to monitor those paths, then you will definitely ensure that wastage is not taking place. Also, one of the constant things I'm sure a lot of executive chefs, they do is they check the garbage bin on a regular basis.
See.
Yeah. So I have gone one step further. I have a big board in my kitchen, in my main kitchen. Breakfast, lunch, dinner, pot wash, dish wash, every individual kitchen, I have ensured that the wastage that is created in that kitchen is written there. And we have put a value to every kilogram of wastage that goes. So an average value of 20 rupees I have put for every kg of wastage. So vegetable, rice, meat, everything put together, I say an average value per kg is 20 rupees. So if I have 400 kgs of wastage that has gone in my garbage, then it's actually written there. We have wasted 8,000 rupees worth of material in the garbage bin.
That's a very good way to calculate.
So there is a physical value attached to that, which, because what was happening in my kitchen was I was seeing constantly wastage was just beyond what was the expected levels, and we had to actually put this in action, shut down every area, unnecessary area where food was being wasted, shut everything down, put this, and believe you me, this actually worked. The moment people started seeing it, it almost reduced my garbage by 20 to 30%.
How many percent?
20 to 30%.
20 to 30% reduction of garbage.
Once they started seeing the physical value being put up on the board, they were the ones to come and tell me, Chef, what I'll do is this. I will not cook in one shot. I will cook in 5 kilo, 10 kilo batches, so that if I don't need to cook, I will not cook.
That's nice.
So that is one very strong thing you can do. Cooking in batches. Generally, what we see banquet kitchens is they will have one shot. They want to cook 30, 40 kgs, and they will put it, whether it's going or not going.
I see.
So that is generally the thing that people utilize. But once the cooks, once the master chefs themselves, they came with the suggestion. They said, this is what I'm going to do, Chef. I see that the waste is going too much. I'm going to cook in batches. You have a 1,000 covers party. We have a 1,000 covers party. I need to make biryani for it. I need to make 60 kgs of biryani for it. I will cook it in 4 batches of 15 kgs each. So this time, this biryani will be ready. This time, this biryani, second batch will be ready. Now, if I need to cook the 3rd and 4th batch, only then I'll cook it.
Okay. That's a very useful technique.
Immediately you have some kind of a saving there happening. So you don't need to cook more than you need to cook, actually. I think that helps a lot in saving money.
Right, that's a very useful tip that you have given, saving money in the kitchen, and many more information. I hope everybody will benefit from the information and your experience that you have shared here. Well, Chef, if someone has any query or need to connect with you, where can they find you?
Oh, they can. So we are there on Eat Fresh today. We are there on. If you post your queries in clarifiedbetter.com, then I can answer them. I have my Facebook or Instagram handles are there as well. My Instagram handle is JAJEETH.
All right. Okay.
So they can find me there, and they can ask me whatever questions they want to, which I'll be more than glad to answer. Also, Eat Fresh today would be a very good platform for them to come in and ask their questions. They can find that on Facebook as well.
All right. What is that platform all about? Eatfresh.ca.
It's a collection of chefs. This pandemic has been a very trying time for all of us, and we found that the best way to utilize our energies is to contribute our recipes together and start a website where people can come and see our recipes, see our experiences. They could ask us questions, and we'll be more than. I think we have at least 100 years of experience on the website of our collective chefs put together. And I'm sure if there is a question that regarding to culinary, towards the culinary perspective, I'm sure one of us can at least answer it in the proper terms, or how we see it. So it'll be great to see you guys on that particular platform and answer your questions, because like I told you, once we prior to starting our this entire episode, I told you, it's always interesting to have a dialogue. It's always interesting to have a conversation where you're able to converse with a person who wants to know about food. I think it's curiosity, that love for food that all of us chefs would like to share. So it's a platform for that.
That's very nice. That's very nice. All the chefs come together, and if you have any queries, they will get the answer from you, and also they can have some recipes that you will be posting there.
Absolutely, we have some grandma's recipes being posted on it. My family group is already making fun of me on that. So yeah.
Chef, why do they have to make fun of you? Yeah, they only taught you, I'm sure. Well, then, Chef, thank you very much. I am sure you will. Thank you very much for giving your information. And to all the viewers out there, I am sure that you will find this interview with Chef Ajeeth very helpful in managing some parts of your hotel food cost. Thank you for coming to our show, Ajeeth. And thank you.
Thank you, Veena. Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Most welcome, and thank you to our audience for watching on YouTube or listening to the podcast. The Clarified Better show is available in video and audio format and is available on YouTube, iTunes, Stitcher, and Spotify. If you like what we are doing, please do leave a comment or a review so that it helps us. See you in the next episode. Thank you so much for listening to Clarified Better show. Thank you, Chef Ajeeth, for coming to our show.
Thank you, Veena.
Bye.